Hi friends, it is Aimee Esther here, and today I wanted to share with you a question that I get a lot, especially recently. I don't know why. A lot of people have been asking me this question, which is my infertility story and how I got pregnant with both PCOS and endometriosis. So I'm going to share that story with you today. Hello and welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, hit that subscribe button. I make videos about life with chronic illness, and you're gonna want to see my videos, so subscribe. Today, I'm just talking about two of my chronic illnesses, which are PCOS and endometriosis, and I wanted to share with you how I ended up getting pregnant with those and kind of my infertility story, my journey to getting pregnant with PCOS and endometriosis. So let's go back to when things first started. Talking about my period, if you didn't know, when my period first started, and it seemed kind of normal at first, just like normal period that everyone has, and then month after month it just got worse and worse, heavier and more painful. And I went to a doctor once I was about 18, realizing that this is not normal to be in this much pain every single month. So I went to a doctor and she said, you probably have endometriosis. And anyways, I have a whole video about my endometriosis. You can go watch that and it tells more details of my story. Also, if you hear my cat in the background, he wants to come hang out with us. Anyways, so go watch my endometriosis story for the whole story about my endometriosis. Also have one on PCOS. So after I talked to that doctor and she told me I most likely have endometriosis, of course, I looked it up, I learned all the things and learned that it can cause infertility. And that, I remember being so upset about that because being a mom is all I've ever wanted to be. I've wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. That's like been my dream job since I was 10 years old. So I knew I just wanted to be a mom and I just tried not to. Stupid cat. So where was I? So I always knew I just wanted to be a mom, and when I heard that I had endometriosis, most likely, of course, a part of me was really nervous. That would mean that I wouldn't be able to have kids or I would struggle with infertility. But I was young, I was 18, and even though, that was part of my plan, I would push it off in my mind that infertility might be something that I would struggle with. And so I just dealt with my heavy, painful periods for years and years. And when I guess it wasn't that many years, but when I was 22, I got married and we decided to start having kids, and I was having a few other health issues. If you watched my channel before, I had a lot of chronic illnesses that developed at this time as well. But I decided to get my endometriosis removed. So I had that removed surgically. And I thought, okay, well now I'll be able to get pregnant easily because I had my endometriosis removed. And I hoped it would fix some of my other problems, which, spoiler alert, it did not fix my other problems. But I thought, well, at least I can have a baby. So the next month, I was so excited for my period to start, which sounds crazy, but I was. And it was just as painful as normal, but instead of being pain everywhere, my cat is so loud. I'm so sorry. Anyways, instead of being pain everywhere with my endometriosis, I just felt pain on one side specifically. And it was so much pain that I thought something must have gone wrong with my surgery. So I went back to my doctor and he did an ultrasound and he found that I had an ovarian cyst rupture and there were a few other ovarian cysts there as well. And after a few blood tests and some other things, I ended up being diagnosed with PCOS. And I have a very weird case of PCOS. So if you want to hear about, kind of why mine is different than normal, go look at my PCOS story video. I will link both of my endometriosis and my PCOS story videos down below so you can watch those. But after that, I was really discouraged because not only did I have endometriosis, but I also had PCOS. And I thought, how am I ever going to get pregnant? These are the two main causes of infertility. And so months went by and I actually, even though I really wanted a baby, I kind of put that behind me because I was dealing with some health issues, some stomach issues. And so I ended up going on a super strict diet for my stomach issues. And after 3 months, I got pregnant. And every month before that, I would rupture a cyst. I would feel it rupture. It was super painful. It just switched sides. And those 3 months, I didn't rupture cysts. And so we believe that I was actually ovulating at that time. Something about not having a cyst rupture was helping me get pregnant. So I got pregnant, and unfortunately I miscarried that baby. So this was about 6 months after I had my surgery. I got pregnant, and then 7 weeks later I miscarried my sweet baby, and it was really hard on me. Now I'm not so emotional about it, but I was really emotional about it when it happened. It was super hard on me, and after that I went back on that diet that helped me ovulate, and it just didn't do anything. And no matter what I ate, it just didn't seem to help. I was just always rupturing cysts over and over and over again. They just came back, and I wasn't ovulating. And so I went to see an endocrinologist, and he just said, you got lucky. And that's what he called my first pregnancy. And that really hurt me, because it just made it sound like it was just kind of this, oh, you just got pregnant, whatever. And it's not going to happen again. It was just like a lucky thing that happened. So that was a little frustrating. And so I only saw him once, and I went back to my OB, and he put me on clomid, which is an ovulation drug. And I was able to ovulate on that drug. The first month, my ovulation was actually really painful, and unfortunately I didn't get pregnant the first month, but I also didn't rupture a cyst. And so that made me very hopeful for the next month. And month 2, again, my painful ovulation, but did not get pregnant, and also did not rupture a cyst. On my 3rd round of clomid, I wasn't very hopeful because the other 2 months didn't work out. But I decided to try some natural things with it. I had read online that vitex and maca root could help you help balance hormones and helps endometriosis and PCOS. So I thought, well, that's something to try. So I added to my clomid vitex and maca root, which are just supplements. And that month, I thought I didn't ovulate at all. I didn't get my normal symptoms, and I actually never got a positive ovulation test. So I thought, well, I didn't ovulate. And so the same week, I actually went and saw a reproductive specialist just to get an idea of the next steps after this. I wasn't quite ready to jump into anything else, nor did we have the money, but I thought I could at least go to this free consultation, get an idea of what the next steps would be so that we can plan and be ready for those. So I went to this reproductive specialist, and he told me he thought I had an ovulation disorder that wasn't technically PCOS, but just kind of similar to PCOS in some ways. But he called it an ovulation disorder. What he said is that instead of ovulating, I develop a cyst on my ovary, and it ruptures to trigger my period, which technically is not a period if you're not ovulating, but my body thinks it's ovulating. But instead, it develops a cyst, and then it ruptures and starts my period, because every time I started my period, the first day I would rupture a cyst. He thought I only ovulated once or twice a year, which is not very much. Most women ovulate 12 times a year. So that was a little frustrating, thinking that, okay, I only have 1 or 2 chances a year to get pregnant. And I also have endometriosis, which had been over a year now since I had my surgery. So I thought for sure it was coming back. I could feel it coming back. And so I was pretty down after that, but he kind of gave me some hope that, things would work out, and that he didn't think I'd have to go all the way to IVF, that there were some things in between that he thought I would be successful at. And so that's kind of where we were at. We were thinking we'd wait like a year and then go for these infertility treatments. But about a week later, I started craving toast, and I had not been eating any grains for about a year before this. And then all of a sudden, all I wanted was toast, and then I wanted potatoes, and I had these weird cravings. I started having heartburn, I started having nausea, and I took a test at, I think, only 10 or 11 DPO. And I got a positive pregnancy test. So I went to my doctor, and my HCG levels were actually pretty low, because I thought that I was farther along than I was. But it turns out I was actually just really early, and I ended up having a successful pregnancy, and I have a 10-month-old baby girl now, and it's super exciting and fun, and I love it so much. So I don't know what happened. I thought I didn't ovulate that month, but apparently I did. And I don't know if the maca root and the vitex are what did the trick, or if it was just the clomid, but that is how I got pregnant with both PCOS and endometriosis. Now, just to answer a question that I will probably get, and I have gotten a lot in the past, which is now what? Okay, what's the next stage? Are you going to be able to get pregnant easy again? And the answer is I have no idea. I will let you know if anything happens. I assume it's going to be tricky again, and I assume I still have PCOS and endometriosis. My doctor did say sometimes after you have a baby it will help your body even out and you don't have those problems, but I have some pain and I'm pretty sure it's coming back, so I will let you know for sure. But I did get a successful pregnancy and it was just so exciting. And I know a lot of people with PCOS and endometriosis, they're very frustrated and it seems really hard to have hope to have a baby, but I just hope that this video gave you some hope and inspiration that you can get there, that your little baby is up there waiting for you, and whatever road you're on, whatever path you're on, I am rooting for you. And if you could leave me a comment and let me know your story. I would love to hear if you have any similarities to mine, if you have any advice for my next pregnancy. Please let me know in the comments, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will see you next time. Thank you.